to my channel. This channel focuses on all women's health, vaginas, periods, boobs, bums. I'm just naming body parts. Of course, I'm drinking a lovely cup of tea whilst talking about everyone's V's. This week's video, what we on, week 9, maybe 10? This might be my 10th video. I don't even know. This is about how I cope with a flare-up. Because I have endometriosis and IBS and so many other issues that we won't talk about today, I struggle with a thing called flare-ups. So, flare-ups are when your symptoms that are usually there, your daily symptoms, all of a sudden go crazy. And the flares just intensify all those symptoms. So, think of an example. A normal symptom for me would be some backache. When I'm having a flare, the backache turns into really bad back pains. Sometimes I can't walk, I have to sit down, apply heat, ice, pills. So it's just when everything gets really intense. And all the symptoms kind of like come together. So instead of just a daily bit of backache or a daily bit of ovary pain, all the symptoms that I can get with endometriosis, and if anyone is watching today who has endometriosis, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or IBS flares or polycystic ovary flares, even normal periods can trigger an intensify of symptoms. Even if you don't have endometriosis, if you're someone that has a period, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not a doctor. If I was, I wouldn't be doing YouTube videos. I would be extremely rich and doing surgeries all day. I'm not a doctor, guys. This is simply my own research, things that I know, my own personal experiences, chatting to other women about these issues. So don't come for me today, thanks. A lot of my flares, and a lot of flares do happen around your period, when you start your period, different points in your cycle, but it doesn't always have to be that way. A lot of women get awful flares throughout the month, not just for like a week within the month. Not that I'm lucky, it's not lucky to be having flares, but you know what I mean. I don't have flares all the time. It is usually a week before my period, during my period, once or twice coming off it. I usually get a week or two pain-free, which is great. It's only 4 weeks in a month, and I only have like a week or two without pain. That's sad. Anyway, your pain levels can change throughout your cycle. Everyone notices this, even with normal periods. You know, you have weeks where you're absolutely fine, and then leading up to your period, things start to happen. Your cycle changes, the pain levels can intensify. You get sore boobs, you get headaches, you get really bloated, and then you have your period. But people that have normal periods, hi, are you out there? Yeah, anyone? I don't know what that's like. Hi, nice to meet you. That have normal periods will just then have, you know, your mild discomfort, bleed for a bit, and move on with your day and your life. But with an endo flare, it can last hours, it can last days, it can last weeks. Yeah, such a magical time. Mine is usually the day of my flare, will probably last all day. Sometimes it could just be a few hours, and then in the evening I'll be fine. Sometimes I'll be fine all day and just have an evening of it. And then I just don't know what I'm gonna feel like when I wake up. Sometimes I wake up and it's gone, and I can kind of carry on with my day. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh great, it's still there. It's about 2 days before your period, but like I said, a lot of women will have it throughout the month. sadly. Couple of days before your period, I notice changes in my body. I can like feel different aches and pains. I get really tired, like can't keep my eyes open, fatigued, that type of tired. And you just know a flare's coming. You just know something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. It's not gonna be great. Sometimes if endometriosis, if the tissue can grow into the fallopian tubes, which then can block blood and cause cysts, that can really lead to painful scarring, and that can affect a flare-up. There's many different triggers of flare-ups, basically, but the tissue then can bind to your other organs. So I don't know if people have heard about people saying like you have endometriosis in your bowels, or women with endometriosis have painful bowel movements, and that's usually because the tissue and the scar tissue would have grown and kind of like fused together. So usually on flare-ups, women have really painful urination, bowel movements, urgency to go, can't go, and there's a lot of pain around there, where all of the tissue in your belly, similar to in your uterus as well, kind of gets inflamed and swells up, and it just has nowhere to go. So it puts pressure on your nerves, causing the pain, pelvic pain. If it is in your bowel, causing bowel pain. Different types of flare-up pains. It can be dull aches, throbbing, sharp pains, burning pains. I don't know if anyone has had burning pains. That's not good. That's so painful. Also, I was chatting to my housemate Katie about this the other week. Don't know if it's just me. Please let me know. If you do, please actually put it in the comments and chat to me, because I don't want to be a freak and really expose myself on YouTube. So I can be sat there going about my normal day, watching Loose Women, and I have like stabbing, shooting pains up my bum, basically, guys. Don't know if that's just me doing that, stabbing away. Can I say that? Different triggers for your flare-up. Sometimes there's no warning at all. We don't know. It just happens. More often than not, it is just a random. It's just random. So it could be to do with your cycle, like I said, like the tissue in your uterus, also in your abdomen, can get swollen, put pressure on the nerves. The tissue just swells up in your fallopian tubes, on the outside uterus, things like that. Activity, so if you're doing something quite physical, if your job is physical or you're exercising, sometimes that can cause a really bad flare-up. That happened to me in work. I was lifting things and I think something just was like, no. And I was on the floor, something just burst, popped, got swollen, inflamed, whatever, and it just happened. And there's nothing you can do about it, sadly. You just got to ride it out. Different foods as well can really trigger it for me. I am going to do a whole video on food triggers, what foods to be eating if you've got endometriosis, diets that work, tips, tricks. I'm going to bring someone in, a lovely dietitian, who's going to explain it all. So that's going to be our next guest, which will be great. Called Endo Belly. Good times. Endo blow is a regular thing for me. So it's just where all your stomach and all the tissue there gets swollen and inflamed. I'm pretty sure I've put loads of photos up on my Instagram of what my stomach can look like. It can look like I'm literally pregnant, or it can look like I'm Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, it is a full body disease. Endometriosis is not just the endometrium. It's not the tissue, it's not just to do with your ovaries or your uterus. It is a full body disease. Women can get pain anyway, so that's why flare-ups are so painful and debilitating, and a lot of the time really random, which interferes with your life because it can just attack anything in your body. I'm sure if you're watching this, you have endometriosis or you have IBS, polycystic ovaries, anything like that, if you do end up having a flare, it can just affect everything. Like, I know when I have an IBS flare up, and I've spoke to other women, that it's not just my stomach, I then get also pain pretty much everywhere else around here, like my ribs, everything. So yeah, flare-ups are super painful. So that's why I wanted to come on today and just talk to you about them, because I've mentioned a lot of stuff to do with endometriosis, like symptoms and treatments. But I wanted to mention this because it is a big thing that so many women go through on the daily. I have a very bad back today, stabbing pains all in my back. It really aches. And I started my period yesterday, so good times to come. I'm gonna have a great week. I had a flare up last week. It was really bad. I was having awful pain in my lower back and down my legs. So like sciatica really, all my nerves get really sore. Down my leg, I was literally just walking to the shop from my flat, like 5-minute walk. And I was walking really slowly and I was having all these shooting pains, and I was like, but I was like, I'm literally almost there. I just need to grab a few things and I'll come back. So I literally went to like HomeBargains or something, and I got to HomeBargains, and my back, my stomach, someone was literally stabbing me in my uterus. So I sat on the shop floor of HomeBargains. I sat on the floor. It was really embarrassing. Sat on HomeBargains shop floor for like 10 minutes. It was a great day out. Yeah, and it took me about 40 minutes to walk home. It's a 5-minute walk, guys, from my flat to HomeBargains, and it took me like the whole trip was like an hour. Flare-ups. This is me. So usually around my period, couple of days before and then during, so I just know when it's going to come, which is good, I suppose, because I can be prepared for it, but I always never am anyway. I don't know why. It's always a shock to me, like, oh, but it happens every month. I don't know why I'm shocked. Awful backache, and then it radiates round into my pelvis, which is a main symptom of endometriosis, pelvic pain. So all the pains in my pelvis, it's like a deep, dull ache. And once I feel that, I know it's happening. If I'm out and about, I usually try and ignore it, or I try and go through my bag to try and find my pills. I always take tablets with me just in case, because you never know. Yeah, aches and pains in the pelvis. I get like shootings, stabbing pains in my ovaries. There's a little man stabbing my ovaries, having a great time in there. Headaches all the time. Even when I'm not having a flare. I should probably get that checked out, but I always have headaches. Fatigue, really bad. Sorry guys, that's gross, but constipation. Or the other one, live on the toilet. I either don't see the toilet for days or I live there. It happens, let me know. I don't know, I'm embarrassed. I'm here to break the taboos. I'm talking all the tea about the V, so get on board. Nausea. That's bad. Leg pain down my leg, so like from my back, and I get like tingling down my leg, which is really weird. sometimes I get pain in my ribs. I don't really know why that is, but I get pain up in my ribs, and then I get shoulder pain as well. I've heard a lot of women say they have shoulder pain. I'm gonna have to actually like look into it because I'm not entirely sure, but I know that after you have laparoscopy surgery, you should take something for your shoulder, like put a little heating pad on there, shoulder pain. I think it's to do with gas. Things that I do at home when I'm having a flare up. Hot water bottles. So obviously I'm resting in bed or I'm on the sofa with like my whole blanket and everything. Hot water bottles, get a long one. This is Christmassy, and for Christmas, oh my gosh, there's tea on it. Oh, that's embarrassing, it's dirty. You know what, that's probably either tea or like spaghetti bolognese. Long ones, because you can wrap them around your stomach as well. Sometimes it's nice. Put it on your shoulder if you have shoulder pain. Wrap it around your back. All good. We all know about hot water bottles. If you want to get Christmassy themed ones, go for it. Heating pads. This is my best friend. I love her. It's the highest and then it goes to 1. There's no point being on 1 because it does absolutely nothing. So get it up to 6. Put that on your stomach, wrap it around your stomach, wrap it around your back. It is just amazing. It's so lovely and warm. Wrap it on your hips. Anything like that is good. I'm going to put that on me now because it's nice and warm and I'm a bit cold. Medication, anything that you think is really going to help you. BU patches, again, I always talk about them because they're great. I usually put one of them on my back. I cut them in half and I put one on like one back and on one side of my back and then one down my hip if that's really painful, or I cut them and put one on each side of the ovary, which is lovely. Deep heat on my muscles on my back if you suffer with sciatica, that's also really good. Some lots of snacks, which will probably trigger more flare-ups, but sometimes you just need to eat a whole tub of ice cream in bed and that's fine. Those are some of the things I do for flare-ups. If you don't have any chronic illnesses, great, congratulations, but these tips can help with normal periods as well. I also have another video for period pain tips. I'm going to do period pain tips part 2 at some point, with some extra things that I found that are really good for pain. So that helps when I have flares at home. If I have flares outside, I try and sit down somewhere, wherever I can, just sit down. Explain to your friends, if you're with your friends, explain to strangers if someone asks you what's going on. Get home as soon as you can, if you can. Ring someone to come help you. Get to a bathroom as soon as you can if you really need to, and carry your medication with you. It can be annoying, but worth it, because you might, like I said, you might be having a lovely little HomeBargains haul and you need to sit on the floor, and I didn't have my medication with me because I thought, oh, it'll only be 5 minutes, but you just don't know. So yeah, carry your medication, look after yourself. That's just a little bit about flare-ups with endometriosis, IBS, even just normal period flare-ups can happen. Look after yourselves, and yeah, let me know what you do in a flare-up. Let me know below, message me on Instagram at Endo Awareness, and I'll get back to you with more tips and things like that. Let me know what you want to see next week. Please subscribe below, all the buttons. I'm hoping to get to 50 subscribers at the end of this month, and I'd love for you to be one of them. I would love to say I'm doing 100 subscribers by the end of the month, but it might happen, it might not. If I get to 50 sooner than the end of the month, then I'll go for the 100 and just go big. But yeah, that would be amazing. So please subscribe if you're watching. Share this about with people, because you never know who might be struggling, who might need to just listen to someone talk rubbish, just to let them know that they're not alone, that I'm going through the same thing as they're going through. See you next week for another episode of All the Tea About Your V. Bye!